We all have those days when we feel pulled in a thousand different directions and all our responsibilities feel equally important. Hitting the work deadline, getting in the workout, making some presentation slides for going for an approach for a new client, pouring lots of unconditional love into your relationships, and the list goes on. How do you manage it all? Prioritization. This is the process of deciding what's most important in your life and giving those things in the right amount of attention and time. Prioritizing means getting clear on who you are, what you want to achieve, and how you want to live your best life. When you know what's most important, you can find fresh motivation, focus, and excitement to do what matters to you most. You feel free to say no to the things that won't move you closer to your goals. You can use limits on your advantages and make the most of your time, energy, and money you have got to achieve your goals. Is this easier? Can you think about it? Yes. And learning how to prioritize is the process, which is very important. But it's a skill you can learn. And I promise you, this is worth it. Let's know the importance of prioritization. There are millions things competing for your time, money, and attention. Remember, these are the three important things: your time, your money, and your attention. And since you have limited amounts of all these three things, you need to be intentionally about how you are spending these resources. That's why learning how to prioritize could be life changing for you. I'm going to talk about some very essential prioritization can help you to do things in your favor. Now, let me talk about create life balance. Sometimes less is more. We all have responsibilities that have to be taken care of, but rest is seriously overlooked in our culture. When we pause and make time for a full night's sleep, connection with loved ones, and our hobbies, we set ourselves up to approach work with fresh energy. Manage your time and money, which is very, very essential. I can tell you by looking at your bank account and your calendar what you care about, because that's where you spend your time and your money. The truth is, we spend our money and our time on things that matters to us. Having clear priorities will help you manage your time and clean up your budget, which will keep you from wasting resources on things that drain you up. Let's understand making decisions. Clarifying your priorities means making a new big decisions instead of many smaller ones. Once you make what your yes is, you will have to an easier time to saying no to things that don't matter to you. Here's an example I'm going to tell you. If you going to bed early is your priority, turn your devices off and leave them in your kitchen, so you have not tempted to answer those emails, those WhatsApp chat messages, or dooming into scrolling on Instagram, social media, and all this stuffs in your bedroom. So yeah, we need to talk about the feel confident. After prioritizing, you will live with a deeper sense of purpose. You will make up each morning with a clear idea of what you want accomplished that day, or what needs to wait, or maybe delegating to someone else, your work. That makes you feel confident. Yes, things are in right place. You have to feel less stressed. If you don't put your own goals first, it will be easy to let the schedules and needs of everyone else. Your actions are very important in this place. Before you know it, you will be putting out fires for everyone else, wondering why you don't have energy for your own work. But when you start prioritizing, you will not only be in control of your time, you will feel calmer, knowing you have a plan to work for. So you feel so light, you feel very less stressed. How to prioritize your life? There are dozens of self-help hacks and tools for prioritizing your to for you to help you out, to feel helped with, right? And many of them are great things which is available. Before we get tactical, I want you to zoom out, 30 feet down view of what you want out of your life. Because if you haven't made the right decisions about the big things which you really need it doesn't really matter what decisions you make about small things. You have to take ownership of your time. If you want to understand your priorities and live balanced life, you have to take responsibilities for how to spend your time, the precious time. No matter how busy or stressed you are in control of what goes on your calendar. There are exceptions, of course. Life happens, you need to move on, right? Nobody else can decide what your priorities are. Nobody else nobody else can make decisions to know what your priorities are. That's your job. And while it is a great idea to talk about the process with a friend or a mentor, and especially your spouse or your girlfriend or whomever, whom you are into relationship with, it comes down to talking back control, or maybe talking about taking the control of your time and deciding what you want your life to look like. How do you want to shape up your life like? That ownership of your time is very important and very essential. Decide what most important for you. All things are not created equally. We all have a lot of good things to do, great things, and even important things going on in your life presently. But prioritizing isn't just about doing important things. We have to put what most important in our life, and that's very important priority which you're going to give. So try this. Take a piece of paper and journal, and writing up, down writing down everything, which going in your mind, going on your life, your obligations, your relationships, your hobbies, anything that takes time and energy of you. From that list, narrow it down to the top 10 things that matter most to you. Don't worry about the order, just write it down. Just choose the 10 most important things which is running in your life, which is taking out all your resources, the time, money, and everything, like your energy. It might be a family, or it could be like you're having a lot of faith on God and praying, exercising, doing a lot of workout, thinking about starting a business, planning, doing research, having a planning of having a baby, or taking your relationship to the next level, or thinking about to make your kid to join to the international school or somewhere. Keeping the house clean, that could be one of your priority, or anything it could be. You have to use a prioritization, the pyramid style. Now let me tell you, going into the tactical thing, you have identified your top 10 priorities. Now you're written down on the paper, but right now they probably all seem equally important for you. That is how you look like in the paper when you written down all the priorities, which is very important for you, where you spend so much of time, energy, right? I want you to picture your priorities in a row, like something like a pyramid. If your priorities all have a equal importance, then when two competing opportunities come up front first, you won't know which one to pursue first, or how could you choose which is highest priority. It's time to rank your priorities in a hierarchy instead of an equal horizontal list. I want you to use a pyramid to rank your priorities. Put the most important things, or things you want it to be in the first place, on the bottom. Keep it on the bottom, the pyramid style. You understand the pyramid, right? The very most important thing which you give lot of importance, keep it on the bottom, the foundation. And the less important or a less urgent things at the top of it. Now your first very priority could be family, and then it could be doing some prayers, and then it could be exercising, working out, and then it could be a work life, checking your emails, doing your priority first task or important task first, sending emails or whatever, or working on presentations, working on some projects, planning things. And then comes maybe your friends, or maybe your relationship or whatever. So prioritize in a pyramid style. The most important thing on first, bottom, and then comes the second, third, fourth, in this way. Now when you the two competing things pop up, you can filter your options and make decision based on what's in the line with your first priority. Check out what is your very first priority. Are you giving a first priority for your relationship or a family, or whatever? Plan it in a way which is gonna be in order, in a pyramid style. And if you need to play around and practice with the plans of to see what is looking the pyramid, which is the most important thing, which is taking your time, your energy. And now look it into the pyramid in a such a way where, is this really matters to me to give so much of energy and time? Is friend is very important for you to keep it on the high priority, and then you're giving the least priority for your family? Or maybe you're giving all the priorities, but you're giving the priority for your work life, for your presentation, and the last priority, look into it. If you don't give much work, priority for your work, for your presentation, for your work, and all the planning what you're doing for your business, and if that is the least priority, does that give an impact on your lifestyle, which is going to lower your lifestyle or lower your financial things and everything? Is that going to impact you? So now you need to understand what is most important. Family is important, you give the first priority. Your work life, or maybe in your physique, exercise, health oriented things is very important, you give the second priority for that. And then comes maybe you need to do some some prayers for God or whatever, that is the next priority, you give the priority. and then you give the priority for your work. So you need to decide what is important first, what is second important, and you plan up in this way. The pyramid will tell you, like, where your time and energy is going most. Divide your priorities into specific time periods. Now we are going to take closer look at how to plan your daily lives around our priorities. Everyone has the top 10 priorities in their life that help create a regular rhythm and routine. But we need to use time management to work on those priorities during this thought process, a week or a day. For each of this, you are going to limit yourself just a few, and maybe, like, by very few time which you're going to keep it a limitation. I mean, three or four, which is most priority. Our culture is way too busy. So, part of prioritization is saying no to unrealistic expectations about how much you can get done. Also, with each smaller measure of time, your priorities are going to become more specific here. That is how you're going to look into things. Choose priorities for a reason. Your priorities will change based on the reasons you are in. Let's say you are an accountant. You can expect work to take higher priorities during tax season. I'm talking about the priorities as per the seasons. So most of the accountant, like, they'll be giving higher time and higher time consumption for the most of the priorities, like, their priorities during their tax season. That happens once, like, tax seasons. So maybe, like, every month once you need to file a tax, and that you do it in the first week of every month, maybe 10th or 11th, something like that, right? Or maybe you are about to get married, you're planning for your wedding. You can't keep getting married all the time and through two times or three times in a year, right? That happens once in a lifetime. So that particular year, on that particular quarter, like, where you're planning for your marriage, your wedding. So some of your priorities, it holds in this way, like, your it's a seasonal priorities. Like maybe you're planning to watch a big game or India Pakistan game which is happening in your city, and you want to block your day, like, going and spending the entire day watching the cricket. Or maybe you're planning to shift your house to new house, the better house. You can't keep shifting your house now and then, right? So you're going to give your the seasonal priorities. So you need to choose these three or four big priorities, seasonal priorities, overarching priorities. You plan to give more time, attention, and money to. Let me give you a few examples of what this might look like. The priorities on seasonal based. Find out, like, maybe, like, you're thinking to move your house to the better house, to the villa. Maybe you are preparing for your annual review for your business presentation. You're planning to shift your kid to an international school. So this all happens in a seasonal ways, like, seasonally, like, sometime you go into choose your priorities. Now choose priorities for your week wise. You're planning your priorities as a week wise. Your weekly priorities will change based on what you have got going to do at work, or maybe, like, you're planning to take your kid outside. Maybe your social life, like, you're gonna meet your friend in that particular week for a party, or thinking about going for a marathon for the next week. So probably you want to prioritize extra sleep, where you've been having restless days, not having good sleep, working overtime, and now you're planning this week, I need to take good health, I need to think about my healthy meal. I want to have a good amount of 9 hours sleep. That week is been decided. Spending time with your friend or something like that. Once again, let me give you, you need to choose 3 or 4 overarching priorities for your week. I'm going to give you a few examples, prepare for big presentation for that week, for your work, for maybe creating some business presentation for your client, or maybe that particular week you're finishing all your tax fillings, celebrate your birthday anniversaries, or anniversary of your my wedding anniversary, or maybe you're planning for your spouse birthday party, or for your kids birthday party, your friends party. Choose your priorities, you can choose your priorities also for a day wise. Knowing your priorities for a week will help you narrow down your daily priorities also. These are specific action items which you can think about, that will help you to make your goals to a reality. So you should still limit your yourself to 3 or 4 items again for a daily, unless you have a lot of extra time, still it is there which is available. I can tell you, getting your gym class before the work. These are the examples, review your car insurance and check whether the renewal is done or not. If the renewal is supposed to be done, that's the last date, you give priority for that to renew it. Go to bed sharp at 9 p.m. so you are rested very well for going for a presentation for the next day at workplace. So these are the daily priorities. You need to say no to your distractions. Once you are clear on your priorities, you have got to protect your time by saying no to distractions. This is an ongoing process that you need to revise, day after day, because distractions are everywhere. It just comes like that. Distractions, sudden phone call, who is very important for you, and you can't skip that. Distractions. From the moment we woke up, we are bombarded with notifications, and with emails, people sending you message, calling you, people shouting for your attention. With this instant connections and constant stimulation, it's easy to be distracted every single moment of your day. Staying focused is a something very important thing which you need to choose. What is important in this world for me? Don't delay what's most important to you to accommodate the last minute request from other people. You should not kill your time that moment, when you spend with your distractions and you lost your time, and next moment the things which needs to be completed, you have very less time to do that, which is going to create a lot of negative impact on you. Don't let good opportunities to derive from best opportunities. Don't say yes when you really want to say no. By the way, it's important to recognize that we say yes to distractions for all sort of reasons. Maybe we don't want to disappoint someone, and we need to give the time to them, or we feel pressure to achieve that, or we are bored, or we want to be the hero, or maybe it's a combination of curiosity and wanting to grow and maybe experience life. What about you? If any distractions comes, do you say yes or no? What keeps you from saying no? Question yourself. So what is priority? You need to think about it. And always remember, when you say no to something, it frees you up to say yes to what matters most in your life. Make choices that prioritize your goals. Yes, if you are looking for more guidance, you need to check some of the sessions which I have spoke about. How to prioritize your productivity, like how to increase your productivity in your business, or maybe you are thinking about how effectively you can do business, presentations, what to talk, what not to talk, right? So these all are very important things which needs to be done. So your priorities is always it's in your mind, and you need to shape up to see things in a pyramid style. What is the most important thing in your life, and where your time and energy is spent more? Looking at these things, you will get to know what is where is your energy has been wasted, or where is your time is wasted, or your most important resources has been wasted. So if something is giving you stress, and that you need to just remove it from your top 10 list, because it's wasting your energy, it's wasting your precious time. Keeping someone in your life who is toxic and that's killing your time and growth, pause it, take a space, or give them a space, take a break from that. And now looking at your priorities, it's making more smarter. You know where to spend more time and your energy, your money, and think about your goals. So when there is a big problem or obstacles, make it into smaller pieces. If you can't face the bigger problems, make it into small pieces, and try to complete those small pieces. So this way, you can prioritize your life.